Hello everyone and welcome back to Overwatch 101. This is a series where I help console players get a little bit better at playing Overwatch. That's not to say that we're bad, right? There are some really good console Overwatch players. But from what I've seen, a lot of people don't really know what they're doing, or at least they pretend like they don't, right? So I'm trying to bring the tips and guides over from the PC Pro guys to show you how to play this game the most effectively so that we can be dominant on console, right? So that we can dominate other people on console. All right? But I do want to help everybody get better because having a good let's say a good state of competition for the game is always good, right? You always want good competition. So I want everyone to learn so that we can all be competitive with one another. Today we're going to be defending Hollywood. Now, defending this first point on Hollywood is actually pretty easy. It's actually relatively easy to fend off the attackers to keep them away from Mr. Halfred Glitchbot, all right? To keep them from being able to move him. It's pretty easy, all right? Now, I see a lot of teams do this. I see a lot of teams just kind of stand around over here, okay, and they'll stand in the choke and all this and that and the other. And this is okay. This is not the worst thing in the world to do. The worst thing in the world to do is to be out here in front of the choke defending like this. This is just madness because you're just going to die a lot. Because first of all, they can shoot you from spawn, and that's like the worst no-no, okay? You're just going to die. So you don't want to be out in front of the choke point. You can be right here all you want, okay? And this is an okay place to hold. Back here is even better, okay? This is an even better place to hold, okay? You just have to keep a watchful eye on the flank. That's all it takes is just one person watching this flank, which you will pretty much always have someone watching that flank, okay? But the best place to hold here for this first objective, or what sees the most success, is having this high ground, okay? If you have this high ground, then you can pretty much win the game from up here. Now that's not to say that you might not have to jump down and defend the objective, but you can do a lot of damage from up here relatively quickly and get quite a few pickoffs as well. Alright? Now, the enemy team has only really two options here. They can go flooding out that door and then onto the objective, okay, and then try their best to use a little bit of cover by standing really close to this building where we can't shoot them as well, right? That's really their only option if they go that way and we're up here, okay? Or they go up the stairs and try to meet us, okay? It's really their only options. Now, as we covered in the attack video, the best thing is to go down those stairs by going out of their spawn to their left, going up the stairs and then down and then speed boosting through and up those stairs, okay? If they can meet us up here, okay, then this is an even playing ground for them and they can just fight it out. But we have to fight it out as well. If we see them do that, we do as much damage as we can from up here, okay? And then we fight it out in here. We do not let them have this high ground. We want to keep them at a disadvantage, okay? So we just have to fight it out, and they have to do the same. They just have to fight us off as well. It's all about skill and chance at this point, okay? So you fight it out for what's yours. You keep this high ground, all right? Now let's say they take this high ground. Okay, if they take this high ground, the only thing you can really do at this point, okay, is to just back off and give them a little bit of space, okay? You don't want to stand right underneath, right? We've discussed this before. You don't want to stand right here. You're going to die if you stand right here once they've got that high ground, okay? You don't want to try and go up and meet them, okay? Because you're probably going to die doing that as well. You want to give them a little bit of space, okay? And then once they jump down, then you can fight it out, okay? Then you can fight for what's yours because now they're back on an even playing field. Alright. Let's say, actually, you know what? Before we move on, I want to cover one more defensive area where I see some pros defending that can work. And that is in this high ground up here, above the cafe. Alright. I've seen pros do this, and it can work, but in my opinion, I think it's a little bit too far from the attacking team. But I've seen pros do it. I've seen Bastion set up here, and Reinhardt's right here with the shield, and so the Bastion can just do all the naughty things he wants to. And this is nice because you can pretty much see everything, right? You can see them if they're going around the back. You can see that. You can see them, obviously, if they're going right through there. You can see pretty much everything from here. So this is really nice to have for that. But if you're up there, then you can pretty much see what they're working with way before they come around that corner, and then you have to deal with it from here. So I think that's a more advantageous high ground to have, just in my opinion. But you can have either one. You can take either one. They both work, and they almost work equally. But in my opinion, I think that high ground is a little bit better, especially to start with. Now, if they push you off, if they back you off, then maybe you want to take this high ground, right? A secondary high ground, a backup high ground, if you will. All right, let's say they take the objective. Let's say they start moving, okay? As a defense, the last thing you want to do is be right here when this door opens up. This is a no-no, being this close. They're just going to absolutely slaughter you, right? Pretty much just like that right there. But also, I mean, their spawn is like right over there, that door. They're going to be coming out of that spawn now, their new spawn. So you're just way too close at this point, okay? You are way too close. You're going to die a lot, okay? There are only two options you have. Defending the low ground or defending from the high ground. Defending the low ground is nice for contesting the payload, and defending the low ground is best done right here at this bend in the road between the cactus and the bales of hay. This is the best I've seen it done, because you can see the attacking enemy team going around behind you if you're vigilant, right? You can see them going through there. You can see them moseying across and going over there. You can see that stuff, so you can turn around to deal with it, right? Because they're probably going to be right there. So this is a pretty nice place to hold. You can see what they're doing from here. But another really good place to hold, and I've seen quite a few pros do this, is to get up here, right? Get on this moving elevator, grab this high ground, okay, and then everybody be up here. The entire team be up here, fighting it out and doing damage from up here. The only problem with being up here is this wall right there. You can't really shoot too well at them because of this wall. I mean, obviously, if everyone stood right here on the pinnacle, right here on the edge, then yeah, you'd be able to shoot them. But this can be pretty dangerous, because if you fall off, then you're probably going to die, right? Your whole team would have to follow you if you fell and protect you, because if they didn't, then you would die. So the entire team holding up there is okay, and I've seen pro teams do it, but I would actually suggest being here in the low ground. Now, if the enemy team tries to take that high ground, you really do have to just meet them over here, okay? You have to meet them over here. You have to fight it out. You can't let them get on that elevator, because if they do, they'll slaughter you. If they grab that high ground and you're still standing between the cactus and the bale of hay, you're going to die. You're just going to die, okay? So if you see them moseying on over, okay, you absolutely have to come and fight it out, and do not let them have the elevator, okay? There's also a big health pack over here that you don't want to let them have. So if they're doing that, you absolutely have to come over here and meet them. Alright, let's say they push past the cactus and the bale of hay. Okay, right here is also a decent place to hold between that cactus and that post. Okay, this is a decent place to hold. Okay, but you're not likely to hold too long in here, right? Because if they've moved past there, then you're probably coming back from spawn, you maybe got eliminated, and you're not going to really have the time to get in between here and here. Okay, but this is just a more secondary fallback position. Okay, holding right here between the stagecoach and between this post, this can actually be really, really strong. Okay, you can hold for quite a while here because it's a very tiny choke. If they try to take a flank going around that way, you'll definitely see it. The only flank you have to be aware of and have to have someone watching is this one around back here. Okay, now if you're holding here and they're having trouble dealing with it, then they're just absolutely going to take this flank. They're going to resort to plan B. Okay, they're going to come around here and they're going to try to attack you from here. You just, if you see that, right, if you see that they're maybe backing off or maybe they're going in there, okay, then you absolutely just have to turn around and hold the front here at this choke between the big light and the stagecoach. You just hold it here, right? That's how you defend that flank. Alright, let's say they move the payload past the stagecoach and the pole. Let's say they're moving into this bend, okay? Well, the next place you can hold is between these two stacked boxes and this cactus. This is the next place you can hold, because you can still see them from over there, and if they tried to just take that flank right there, you can still see them do that, so you can tell your team. And they're not going to be able to surprise you from that flank anymore. So this is a really strong place to hold as well. You do have to be aware of the high ground, though. They can easily take the high ground if you're this far without any aggression from you whatsoever, because you're so far off. So you may see teams way up there on that bridge on the high ground, okay? And if you do get any aggression like that, okay, then what you have to do is you just have to back off a little bit, okay? Don't back off too far, but back off a little bit so that they can't do too much damage from that far, because eventually they're just going to have to jump down on the payload. And when they do, you just attack, okay? Always attack when they're on the payload. Always give them distance when they've got the high ground and they're far away, okay? You can even come back in here and use this cover if you want. But the minute you see anyone on that payload, you just come out, you just attack, okay? You do not let them have it. Let's say they push through. Okay. This right here is a pretty decent place to hold, okay? Between the jail, between this, these bales of hay, right here's an okay place to hold. This is kind of the last area you can hold, because you can see them taking any flanks to try to get around over here. You can see them do that, so you can call it out. But you are going to have someone watching over here. They can go through the saloon, or they can go around behind where that big health pack is. So that can be relatively dangerous. You just have to have someone call it out. If the entire team is going back there where that big health pack is, okay, then you just turn around and you shield your team and you start backing them down, right? You attack, you be aggressive, okay, you just start backing them down. Alright, let's say they move through here. Once they start to get into this area, it can't just become a contesting fest. You just come out, you contest, you panicked a little bit. Maybe you can hold them off here, right? Maybe you can get lucky in doing that, but for the most part, if they get that far, they're probably going to get the checkpoint eventually. So what you want to do, right, once they move through that door right there, that's their checkpoint. Once they move through and they start moving down this road, okay, then you want to be right here, okay? You want to be in control of this area. Now, yes, it can be difficult to fight on a slope. You've got low ground and then sloped up to a high ground. But you want to control this area, because what a lot of attacking teams will do, okay, is when they leave their old spawn, they'll come through here, okay, they'll use this for cover, and then, boom, they're right here in your face. So defending here can be difficult, but you've got these health packs that you have to control, these two big health packs. So controlling this area and being aggressive can be really nice here, okay? You just have to control this area. Okay, you have to be skilled. If they try to come back here, you just have to be aggressive and fight them off, okay? You can't let them grab this health pack. You also don't want them to be back here doing naughty things, okay? So holding here is pretty much what you have to do, okay? You have to hold here. You have to use just the fact that they can't see you and you can't see them to your advantage, okay? Maybe hop up here, hop over, and then start doing a little bit of damage that way, right? You just have to use what you have to your advantage. Alright? Let's say they move down the slope here and into this area. Well, this is actually really nice, right? This is really nice because now they're in a low ground, okay? And if they try to take a flank to the right and get upstairs, we can clearly see them doing that, okay? And there are only a handful of heroes that can get up here to their left and go through and get behind that way. There are only a handful of heroes who can do that, okay? So you do want to be aware of the heroes that they have. If they have maybe a diva or a Widowmaker who can grapple up to the top left, you maybe want to be aware of that and tell your teammates to watch for the Widowmaker who might be trying to go top left, right? Things like that. But for the most part, this high ground is really nice to have. This is one of the hardest pushes for the attackers to make, is up this hill and straight in front of the Hollywood sign here, right? This is one of the hardest things for the attacking team to do, is to push up this hill, right? But that's because you're being aggressive as a defender. That's because you're fending them off and you're telling them no, right? You're not being submissive. You're not backing up, okay? You're not backing up. Even though you've got the high ground, don't back up, right? There's no reason to back up. You're giving them what they want. So you just have to use this to your advantage, right? Your flankers are doing all kinds of nasty things doing that right there, right? You're being a big, giant distraction with your giant blue energy shield, right? While your flankers do their thing. This can be a really great place to hold, right? And this is really the last great place to hold here, because once they push through here and up here, it's just a contest fest. From this point on, you just have to flood out from spawn and contest as long as you can, doing as much damage as you can. This is really what it takes, right? Because, well, this is the last straw. If they wipe here, then it's a win, okay? So you just have to be aggressive. You just have to prioritize targets like healers, right? maybe really dangerous targets like Symmetras and Maze, okay? People who you are sure have their ult, try to kill them before they can use it, right? Things like that, so that you can hold them here. But once they get this far, it's really more up to skill and luck than anything else. So just play your hardest, play your best, play to win, and maybe you can see good luck with your Hollywood defense endeavors. This has been Hollywood on defense. Hopefully you'll see good luck with that. This is Overwatch 101, signing off.